fantasy football.
It's my quarterback. If you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
How's your fantasy team looking this year?
I won $1 million.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
This is Janelle James, and you're listening to My Fantasy Wife podcast.
My Fantasy Wife podcast.
Style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
Blair.
I watched 40 minutes of Space Jam this weekend. It's 40 minutes of my life. I'm not going to get back.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Gary.
They had already announced he was leaving. He just didn't want to wait out the 30. You know, when you quit a job, you got to give him 30 days or whatever.
2 weeks. You've never had a real job, have you?
No.
He is the man in the fantasy world.
Drew.
You're not a Peyton Manning fan.
I'm not a Manning fan.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Lewis.
You love Burger King.
Yeah, I like Burger King.
Yeah.
Not the game. We're talking about practice, man.
You're listening to My Fantasy Wife podcast. www.myfantasywife.com.
Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blair Postman.
Hey.
I'm joined by my husband and sports stat expert Gary Hames.
Ooh.
We're also joined by Hot Topics and social media maven, comedian Drew Harrison. Yay! And rounding things out, sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To never miss our weekly episodes and extras, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at MyFantWife, and support the podcast by liking and rating us in iTunes. Miss any of that? Then go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Gary?
Yeah.
Tell us about this week's sponsor.
Sure, Blair. This week's sponsor is SharkanoMovie.gov.
No. The real sponsor,
SharkanoMovie.gov.
Gary, please, we don't have a lot of time.
All right, fine. It's Dead Crow Comedy Room. Dead Crow Comedy in Wilmington, North Carolina has weekly events featuring local and regional comedians like Free Comedy Bingo every Tuesday, hosted by none other than our own Louis Bishop and Indu's sidekick Lou Morgante, as well as nationally touring comics from TV and movies every weekend. Whether you're local or visiting the Wilmington, North Carolina on your beach vacation, be sure to check them out at deadcrowcomedy.com. That's deadcrowcomedy.com. All
right, guys. Wow, we had a lot of time left on the hour.
I know, because you wouldn't let me do that whole shark thing.
Wow.
Sharkano.
Yes, Sharknado. Yes, Gary's very obsessed with Sharknado this week. How are you guys doing?
I'm okay.
Just okay, Drew?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What happened to Mr. Enthusiasm from last week?
You know.
He peaked?
Yeah.
All right. How are you doing, Mr. Bishop?
I'm good. I'm more worried about what's wrong with Drew. What's wrong, Drew?
Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
You know, life.
Oh.
He didn't get in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
Kenny easily got in, and Drew didn't get in.
Were you expecting to get in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I mean, you win fantasy football 2 years in a row.
Right. No, that's true.
You don't get a yellow jacket for that?
No. Expectations are hard.
Right.
They're hard.
Do you want a Black Beauty? I'm all out of yellow jackets. You want...
Different.
A drug joke from
different kind of well, you know, right. All those years in the strip club. All right, guys. So our upcoming, we got a lot to do though for realsies. We've got real fact checking back. Joe Perot is going to be our Dragon Master to go over Game of Thrones from last week, and our comedian guest this week is going to be Atlanta comedian Jen O'Neill Smith. Big round of applause! Yay.
Hey, did you like that the person with the least drug experience at all was the first person to get the drug reference?
Who, you?
Yeah.
I think maybe we're tied for last, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and fun fact, Jen will have just come home from a Braves game when we call her.
They lost today.
So, okay, well, spoiler alert, I guess this is coming out.
4-1 to the Marlins.
Yeah, okay, well, we're gonna have some stuff to talk about. You guys can commiserate. All right, speaking of Wills Maxwell, I'm going to call him right now. Let's get it going.
You think he's going to pick up?
I feel like yes.
Do you mean Wheels Maxwell?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Wheels Maxwell is a good nickname. that's something he should run with.
Changes the age.
Get a guest role in Cars 3. Wheels Maxwell.
They think you.
Hey guys.
Hey, is this Wills Maxwell?
The one and the second.
The one and the
second.
Junior. One of two known ones. Well, hi, Wills. It's a wonderful treat to have you back on my Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. It has been a bit.
It has been a bit. And just to remind everyone, fact-checking is the part of the podcast where we correct the mistakes we made last week with Ombudsman Wills Maxwell Jr. to make way for the mistakes we are going to definitely make this week.
We had Wills Maxwell Sr. filling in for you, and he did not do as well.
How did he do?
Not as good.
He was really cranky. He didn't like any of the rock and roll music that I don't know.
How old do you think my parents?
I don't know. He's probably younger than I am.
My parents are.
How old are your parents?
Not my parents.
How old? I know. I'm just kidding. How old are your parents? Do you?
Your age. They are the same age as you.
Okay. Well,
wow.
Well, then I think that's a pretty apt description too, because I don't care for a lot of the rock and roll music we play on this show. Anything after Journey is no good to me.
You could be Will's mom.
All right, Will.
So I don't have too much for you guys. No, you were talking to Ryan Connor about our previous record holders for the games.
Yeah.
And for the time being, we have a tie between Pranav Bahari and Chris Calogero for the top scores.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Well, both of them at an 8.5 in their scores.
Nice. That's good. That's good to know. I was right when I said Pranav. I forgot about Chris.
Yeah. They
most people do.
We told Pranav he was going for the Chris Calogero Cup, and then he took it and tied with them.
Nice.
Speaking of cups, I looked up the America's Cup.
Yes.
Their trademark seems to be not having any set rules.
Okay. Interesting.
It seems to be they talk it out. The America's Cup is always between two sailing vessels. Whoever won the America's Cup last year and whoever wins the challenging round that gets to go to the America's Cup and beat the champion, face the champion. And it seems like once they figure out who the challenger is or who the challengers will be, then decide when the race will be and how long the race will be. So last year it was an 11-day race. I didn't quite get the route. But yeah, next race will be in 2021. There's no set amount of time. The last one was 2017. The one before that was 2014. It's just they figure it out. They are a good time for you.
They are much less dedicated and consistent than most.
Well, they're all billionaires.
Than most podcasts.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yes. That's not good.
It's going to be 2019, but I guess the challenger when it. I don't know, but it's not set. It's not a steady thing.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, that's not saying anything. New York City crack whores are more dedicated and thought out than most podcasts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
You have to work those hours. You have to tell your customers when the hours are and stick to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise nobody can find you.
You're going to build up a clientele.
Yeah.
All right, Wills. Are you doing anything fun this week coming up? Any good comedy?
Not this week, but I will be doing a show with Tyler Wood in Raleigh, I believe. You know what? I'm going to text that date to you. But Tyler and I are getting nerd comics together.
Yeah.
We're going around and doing some shows as Super Nerd Tindo, and one of our first shows is going to be at Good Night.
Oh, in the upstairs.
I'm going to text you that. We're going to be upstairs.
Yeah.
Good Night.
Make sure he wears the belt.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm sure he...
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. All right, Mr. Wills Maxwell. Well, thank you so much, as always.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good show.
All right. Bye-bye. I almost said you too, which doesn't really make any sense. All right, guys. Are you ready for a little hot topicking? We don't have to call anyone just yet. You ready?
I didn't take it out of your hand.
Eddie.
Give me that phone.
Okay, here's the thing, audience. We have a microphone issue, so instead of the mic hanging...
The issue is that Blair broke the microphone.
No, that's not the issue. I don't have superhuman strength.
That very much is.
Normally, it just shoots up towards the ceiling right in the middle of the sentence.
The nut is warped. Stripped.
Oh. Hey, what?
Yeah, the nut is stripped, apparently, according to Mr. Bishop. So here's the thing. Normally, I have the phone,
it every day.
And a pen, but the mic is hanging. And now I got one too many things. So
Why do you have the pen? What do you need?
Because I check things off and I make notes because I'm a goddamn professional.
No.
Yeah. God.
What note do you make? What's on the note
Like,
list so far? What's
so far, I wrote
Correct
down,
me if I'm wrong, but a professional gets paid.
Yeah, I get paid in future earnings on royalties from this podcast.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
Pranav and Chris
Too bad the grocery store won't take that for free.
Are you going to let me finish this? Somebody asked me a real question.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so I had that Pranav and Chris are tied for the record of game champions so far,
okay.
and so I thought I might use that some point down the line to kind of hype up a game or hype up Jen. So
gotcha.
I don't know. That's where I got so far.
Okay.
All right, guys. So anyway, Gary. So I was just meaning, can you hold that for a second? Because I gotta hold the mic.
Seemed odd that you handed it to me upside down.
Well, that's where the mic is in it anyway.
The mic was down and the other end was up. I didn't understand what we were trying to accomplish.
This is fascinating. What are we trying to accomplish? Let's find out because we're going to do hot topics. Can we have a little hot topic-y music? That sounds very swishy and fantastic. All right, guys, let's get into some hot topics. Number one, I got here, it's the NFL Hall of Fame class was inducted this weekend. We have Kurt Warner, Terrell Davis, Jerry Jones, Jason Taylor, Morton Anderson, and Kenny Easley. Any big feelings on any of those people, pro or con?
That's a solid class. It was a good year this year.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
Kenny Easley, I heard they were talking to him the other night, and when he was recruited, I think he went to UCLA. When he was recruited, he was a star quarterback, but he wanted to go to the NFL, and at the time in the 80s, there weren't any successful black quarterbacks, so he switched to safety.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just so he could make the NFL.
Wow. He must be very talented.
Well, he must
Unfortunate circumstances, but he made the right call.
Yes, I agree.
All right. And
also, Kurt Warner went to the Super Bowl with the Cardinals. You have that here, and I lost $400 on that game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you think that's why he made it in?
Yes. No.
Somebody on the voting
That's
board
on the
really
plaque.
does not like Lewis Bishop, and so he was very excited about
He
it.
put it on the bottom of Kurt Warner's plaque and cost Lewis Bishop $400.
Right. It was more. What's the guy's name? Harris.
Franco Harris?
No. What's the guy's name? Plays for the Steelers.
Franco
James
Harris?
Harrison?
Yeah, James Harrison.
James Harrison. Yeah, it was more James Harrison cost me the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was a good game.
Well, that was a hell of it. Somebody was pointing out he lost 3 Super Bowls. He lost the one to the Steelers on that ridiculous catch by Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone at the end, which could easily not have been a catch. And then the guy got tackled on the 1 yard line.
That's one of the first Super Bowls I remember watching and being like into what happened.
Well, and then Brady cost me something like $5,000 against St. Louis because I had put $100 on a tie on overtime. As I made about 50 prop bets, and for some reason I like that one.
You don't mean that you lost $5,000 out of your pocket?
Let me explain, and you'll see.
He definitely means.
I bet about $1,000 in the game, and some of them won. But the big one was 100 at 50 to 1 that there would be no overtime. There's never been an overtime in a Super Bowl ever, and St. Louis scored with like a minute or 30 seconds or some ridiculous left, and it tied it. And even the announcers, I remember, who's the big fat guy? John Madden saying he did the game, and he was saying, "Oh, they're going to just kneel on it now. There's no time to go down the field." And sure enough, Tom Brady took them to the 40, and they kicked a 50-yard field goal with no time on the clock and won the game. And my $5,000 went out the window.
That's why it's Tom Brady.
Ill-gotten gains, anyway. Just as well. All right, guys. Do you feel? What about Jerry Jones, Gary? Do you like Jerry Jones?
I feel like
it's a loaded question.
Listeners, Gary is a very diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. Jerry Jones, the controversial
Houston Cowboys, right?
Yeah, very fun. Dallas Cowboys. But I think it's fair to say he's a controversial figure.
El Paso Cowboys.
Yes,
right. The lesser known El Paso.
The Luckenbach, Texas Cowboys.
Bro, how do you feel about Jerry Jones in general, or being inducted here in particular?
I'm angry at Jerry Jones for a number of things. I'm angry because I feel like the Cowboys dynasty in the 90s could have won 5 or 6 Super Bowls if he had not stuck his big fucking nose in the middle of it. However, he did build the greatest stadium in the United States, and it's associated with the Cowboys, and they get to do all kinds of stuff there with that. And they, once his sons have taken a bigger role and he's backed off some, things seem to be going much better. So I'm 50-50.
So you're 50-50 on him in general or in being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Oh no, he probably deserves.
He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But I'm not his biggest fan.
All right. Can we have a little change of topic music, Mr. Bishop?
Did we get that breaking? Did y'all know about the breaking news today on football?
No.
Yes, I
Jay
know
Cutler
that.
signed a 1-year deal with the Dolphins.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam Gase, his former Chicago offensive coordinator, is the coordinator with the Dolphins, and their quarterback just went down in practice last week. Yeah.
And they still didn't get Kaepernick.
No.
All right. Well, I thought you meant did we have breaking news on this next subject, but we need a little switch. There is, and I am pretty sure I'm going to regret bringing this up in this company. But there is a very awkward Pete Rose.
Now we're company.
Did we incorporate? Are we a company?
Can I finish for the love of fucking God?
LLC.
Please? Yes. That's our company. For the love of fucking God, LLC. No.
My mom's not going to like that name.
Shut your effing mouth, LLC.
Right. Awkward Pete Rose.
Jesus Christ, LLC.
Do you want to run this thing? Do you want to run this thing?
I don't know.
Is this bringing us together or is it tearing us apart? I don't know. I don't know the answer. All right. There is an awkward Pete Rose statutory rape story, and we don't
as opposed to all the easy, smooth statutory rape stories.
Well, I'm saying it's awkward to talk about, and it's also he said very weird things, and it's kind of like, dude, weren't you just out here trying to get in the Hall of Fame a few days ago?
He's a dirty old man now. What do you expect?
This is what I imagine.
No, it's not recent. It's
it's 40 years old. This is what I kind of imagine the thought in his head. He's like, if I'm not careful, they're going to let me in the Hall of fucking Fame. What am I going to do? I'm going to get in the Hall of Fame. They're starting to come back around. They like me again. What am I? Oh, I know. Remember that 14-year-old girl I raped 40 years ago?
Yeah, so without, making light of it at all.
I would never do that.
Apparently, he had sex with a 15-year-old.
Well,
we're not sure. I mean, there's debate, but he had sex with somebody regardless, very young person.
Yes. She claims she was 14. He claims she was 16 at the time, which under Ohio law in the 70s made her old enough to have sex with.
And it wasn't clear that she was 16. It might have been that he thought she was 16.
Right. Yes.
So he in fairness, when he was like 30.
How old was he? 30?
I don't know. It was 40 years ago. He's got to be.
It was in the middle of his career.
If only we
with
had
the Reds.
someone to look up how old Pete Rose was.
Let's hire somebody like that. What do you say?
We should do that. Drew.
Do you think that's going to be on like his IMDb, how old he was during the rape?
How am I going to Google that? How am I going to Google that right now?
Google,
how old was Pete Rose when he raped that 14-year-old?
Just Google how old.
It happened in 1975. We just need to know when Pete Rose was born.
Which I tried to say 8 times. All we need to know is...
Speech therapy is a thing.
What's that, boy?
That is a Emo Phillips joke.
My brother says hi. So, yay for speech therapy.
He was 34.
He was 34.
Okay.
And he thought she was 16.
Right.
So he's not a hero regardless.
I don't feel like he's ever gone that route. I don't ever feel
route?
like Pete Rose is like...
The hero to
I'm a hero.
NAMBLA.
Oh, boy. All right, guys. That's man-boy love. All right.
Well...
All right. Anything to say about that? Nope. Okay, good.
Well, if Gary said that the law was 16,
right.
Yes.
then technically it was not, if he thought she was 16, then...
It's not technically illegal. I think Blair is suggesting that the moral standard might be a little tighter than the legal standard.
Yeah, and it also, it may not matter if he reasonably thought she was 16 or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the more important thing is how old she actually was.
Yeah.
Well, I think
turns out she was 2,
yeah.
but he was sold a bill of goods by the parents.
Okay. All right. You know what? I regret.
Can we all see how...
No.
Stop.
Oh.
Can we all see how this is not going to be helpful for his Hall of Fame bid?
I mean, it's a little bump in the road.
Yeah.
It's...
I'm standing by what I say. He's not getting in until he's dead.
I think this might be later than him being dead. This might be never, if this is true. All right. Can we have a swoosh?
Which does bring up a very brief, interesting point. Statutorily, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame has ethics as a entry bar to getting in. NFL doesn't. You can be any kind of child molesting, whatever in the NFL. They only judge you, in theory, only are supposed to judge you according to their rules by your football performance. Yes.
I mean, it's the NFL. What do you expect?
Well,
I heard that on the news yesterday, and I just thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Because Ty Cobb, horrendous person, charged with all these violent acts and was a huge drunk and blah, 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 but got right into the, Hall of Fame.
Also, the name of Donald Trump's new lawyer is Ty Cobb. Which
Really?
It's weird.
Oh, Georgia Peach.
It's weird. They're like, Ty Cobb, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no one's going to talk about this? No one's going to talk about this guy's name, Ty Cobb? All right.
I'm from the law firm of Ty Cobb and Hitler.
Right,
what if he was charged with taking over an army base and Ty Cobb had to defend him for stealing a base?
Okay. I'm going to need...
Right?
I'm going to need a change of topic music.
I will allow
and
it.
a shot of whiskey. A shot of whiskey. Your best whiskey, my friend. Speaking of that, Saban will not suspend Deshaun Hand, who was...
Saban.
Saban.
What's his first name?
Mr.
Okay.
It's like word.
What does he do for a living?
Something. No, he's a coach.
Name a football player.
Let me finish. God fucking damn it.
LLC.
He is the coach of Alabama's football team.
Ah. Oh, that's Saban.
Yeah, that's not Keith. Nick. Is it Nick?
Nick.
Okay, Nick. See? God. All right. Deshaun Hand.
Nicholas to his mother.
One of his, Nicholas fucking Saban. Hand was arrested and charged with driving under the influence after being found asleep at the wheel in a parking lot with his keys in the ignition. Saban pointed out that while Hand did put himself in a bad situation, he didn't attempt to drive the car and therefore didn't put others at risk. Now...
That's
from my
pretty solid
understanding,
logic.
it goes by state, but my understanding is if your keys are in your car, you're behind the wheel, it doesn't matter if you're passed off.
I actually happen to be an expert on this subject without naming any names. I was a very close witness to this exact case in a state that we used to live in, and they were absolutely convicted because the keys were in the ignition, even though they were not conscious.
Who says that you made a conscious choice not to drive? Maybe you just passed out before you got going. Isn't that basically what happened to Tiger Woods a couple of weeks ago?
I think it was more than a couple of weeks, I think. But yes, and that was
this
drugs,
summer?
but yes.
He didn't get in trouble.
Yes, he did.
I thought he got dropped.
Yeah, I thought he got in trouble publicly.
Yeah.
Like everyone was
Well,
disappointed.
he was charged. I never heard about that.
No, they dropped the charges.
Typical.
But no, I saw someone convicted for that exact thing.
Yeah, so you can be convicted, and also it doesn't mean you made. You know what? I'm going to make the moral, ethical choice here to not drive. That's not necessarily what happened.
Well, he was just sitting there listening to the radio until he got sober. Had to have the keys in the ignition to listen to the radio until he got sober.
Yeah.
Is that what the person said that you were with?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
They said sorry.
Sorry.
All right.
7th District did not accept that.
So what do you guys think about this?
Did he have the lawyers of Cobb, Hitler, and Hitler?
No, he had actually hired Allen, and Allen.
Oh.
That is an incredibly arcane reference.
If you're listening
again,
and memorizing every show, you'll
if you're
get
listening and memorizing, he brought it up last week with Ryan Connor.
See, it's not that arcane.
And it is the name of a law firm in the little town he grew up in, and yet it comes up a lot. Okay.
Well, it's a great name.
So do you guys think that Deshaun Hand should be suspended or not?
Yes.
Drew?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Drew, why?
I think you should because, he's just... If he was another student, it wouldn't even be a question. He would have gotten charged immediately.
Hey, if you're convicted of drunk driving, they get suspended in the NFL when they get drunk driving charges. So,
right.
Why not college kids?
Get him ready. Get him ready for when he gets in trouble at the next level.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Saying.
This isn't going to be the only time he gets in trouble.
Why do you say no, Mr. Bishop?
What was your question? I'm sorry. I just said
Should he be suspended, the player?
No. Because, listen, he's bringing in money. None of these other kids are bringing in money. We need money to run these goddamn schools.
Ball coach.
Okay? So, listen, once the math department starts bringing in money,
right.
we'll allow them to do whatever, all right? But until
and what are the odds that the Alabama math department is going to be bringing in any money anytime soon?
Well, that
first they would have to have a math department.
They probably do.
No.
Yes.
No.
That is
Gary,
status, and I don't like
Drew,
that.
look up whether University of Alabama has a math department,
I'm sure they
please.
do. They have to.
Of course they have a math
do.
department.
Of course they have a math
If you type Alabama and math into the same search, the phone blows up.
All right, guys. While Drew looks up whether Alabama has a math department.
I got Department of Mathematics, Alabama, Tuscaloosa.
All right, who's the dean or the head of that particular?
Bring me the head.
Right.
It's a little telling that the phone number for the math department only has 5 digits. It's DP406.
David Caruso Uribe.
All right, so I'm sure he's doing a fine job.
That's a real name.
You can get at the University of Alabama. You can major in mathematics. You can also minor in statistics and mathematics education.
All right.
Statistics and mathematics education. I can tell you that there was a Houston Astro named Jose Uribe. So that's a little suspicious.
Didn't he play for the White Sox as well?
Yes.
The people have the same last names as other
The
people.
Alabama mathematics chairman is the brother of a Major League Baseball player.
All right, I think you're trying too hard to stir something up here. I feel like you're forcing this one. All right, let's call Joe Perot.
Yes.
Joe, can we get a little?
Give me my points.
Can we get a little Game of Thrones?
We need a theme song for Joe Perot.
Yeah, it's the Game of Thrones theme song.
No, I need a better one than that.
You do better than that? That's
yes.
That's a pretty good one.
No.
Hold on a second. Oh, here we go.
Hello,
is this Joe Perot?
You know it.
Joe Perot, what do you know? This is Blair Postman, and you're on the air with My Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you, Joe?
I'm great. How's the gang doing?
Oh, it's very surly.
We're good.
Surly today, or maybe that's just me.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe the University of Alabama has a math department?
He was a golf major.
I know. So you should know better than that.
They must, right? They have to.
Right.
Well, they have math class.
They do. They absolutely do have a math department. So, listeners...
That's weird to greet him on the phone with. Like,
yes,
hey, Joe, how you doing? Fuck Alabama.
Well, hey, we've got a golfer here. Ask him if he would have gotten suspended if he got convicted for drunk driving.
He wasn't a golfer. He was like golf management or whatever they call it. I don't remember.
Okay.
Hold on. You went to Alabama?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Wait.
Did he go to Alabama or no?
Who's on first?
He went to Campbell.
Oh, that's
He's a camel.
He spent some time in Alabama at a fancy golf course.
Oh.
But you wouldn't remember that. We just talked about it on the podcast.
What?
Wow.
We talked about it like
Blair,
back
are you
in
okay
February.
Today? Are you all right? That one hurt.
Yeah,
a
I think the
little bit.
live one.
That was,
live one.
That was a zinger.
Was it a
Yeah,
zinger?
that show was pretty good. You got pretty good numbers on that one too. The listeners, a lot of downloads.
A lot of downloads on that one. Anyway, let's start fresh. Hi, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, Blair.
Thank you for being our Dragon Master.
Thank you for having me as your Dragon Master.
And we're going to talk about our Game of Thrones Fantasy League. And
Yes.
now, just to remind all the listeners, we have 5 teams. Team Brent right now, as of now, has the Hound, Yara Greyjoy, Bronn, Jorah Mormont, and Beric Dondarrion. House Lewis has the Mountain, the Night King, Grey Worm, Robert Glover, and Qyburn. House Gary has Jon Snow, Tyrion Lannister, Bran Stark, Peter Baelish, Brienne of Tarth. House Blair has Dany Targaryen, Cersei Lannister, Varys, and I traded last week. I traded Davos for Euron Greyjoy and Sansa Stark. And House Drew has Arya Stark, Jaime Lannister, Ellaria Sand, Tormund Giantsbane, and Lyanna Mormont. And I believe as we left it after episode 2, Drew, I think, was in the lead with 3 points.
Yep.
And Gary and Lewis, I believe, both had 2 points. And Brent and I both had 1 point each. And the way we do things here, folks, is we get an automatic point for your player killing a known or drafted character, 2 points for a dying memorably exit bonus, 1 point for sex with a known or drafted character, and 2 points for winning a war or major battle. But the rest is awesome points, and that's left up to Joe Perot, our Dragon Master. Big round of applause for Joe Perot.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's a monster.
All right.
Boy, that explanation of the game is longer than the introduction to this podcast.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
By a lot. So any thoughts to start us off? I took notes while I watched last week.
Can I ask
Blair's notes.
Can I ask a quick dragon-related question?
Sure.
Are you planning tonight to watch this show or Sharknado 5?
I think I'll have to DVR Sharknado 5 and watch. It's going to be tough because
Right.
I know in both places people will be talking about it at
Right.
the water cooler.
We were thinking about maybe having a little draft of the various personalities in Sharknado 5 and see who got killed.
Are we going to
blah,
a 3-hour podcast next time?
Yeah, we didn't. Well, it's a little late.
It's a little late, I guess, for that now.
Yeah.
But when we left home, Sci-Fi Channel was running a countdown in the corner, and there were 3 hours and 37 minutes until the worldwide premiere of Sharknado 5.
Right.
Wow.
I feel
It's closer than that now.
I feel like we're going to get a chance to see it.
I'm watching it.
Okay. So I could go over my notes, but I'm curious to know what you think is interesting.
Well, I think it's been fun to watch Danny take a couple L's.
Yes.
She seems to be winning a whole lot until this season.
Right.
And she's getting fucked.
Well, I'll start with what I thought was probably the most memorable, one of the most memorable scenes. And that was, who is it? Lady Tyrell. Lady Tyrell.
Good, give my boy Jamie that point.
She saying, as she swallowed her poison after her armies had lost to Jamie's armies and they were stealing all her gold. First of all, she referred to his dead son, the former king, by saying he really was a cunt, wasn't he?
That was fantastic.
And
this is a great episode. Can I just say, this is a great episode.
It's a great
I
episode.
really enjoyed it.
It was fun. Yeah, it was a good one.
And she also told Jamie in no uncertain terms that she was the one who killed Joffrey.
Yes.
So that was Lady Tyrell was undrafted in our league, but that was huge. That was
so. Do I get 3 points for the battle win?
Wait a second. Does
And
anybody
killing the
have
character?
her? I swear to God, if nobody has her,
We've told you. Look, Lewis drafted people like Robert Glover and Qyburn.
Well, isn't she
and there's
dead now?
nothing we can do about it. She's dead now.
Yeah, so that would be 5 episodes without her. So I don't know that was that smart.
Right, or 4.
Oh well,
I'm playing the
I
long
believe
ball,
that-
homie.
I believe that having 1 point
is all it takes to be in the game.
2 points gets you into fucking 3rd out of 5.
Right.
Yeah, after season
There's
3.
not a lot of points flying around.
That's
No,
true.
there's not.
Yeah.
There's not. So
Could it be that the Dragon Master's a little conservative?
he's? You know what?
No, it hasn't been that awesome of a season yet. And you know what, Gary? A lot of points are flying around this episode.
Yep.
And you guys just don't have the characters.
Right.
Okay.
So, but let's go to
My character has been questioned many times in the past.
Yes,
it's
it is
not a new development.
It's not going to be the
Well,
last
there's
time.
no question about that.
So now Drew brings up. Now Drew has Jamie Lannister. Does Jamie Lannister get a point for winning?
Why don't you just let him tell us what the points are?
Okay. Well.
Do you want me to roll through points here?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we can question
Okay.
him after we know what he already did.
Okay.
All right. Well, first on my list was Lady Olenna gets 2 points because she died, and she died memorably, but nobody had her, so that was
She's
a waste
not
of my
dead.
time to even. Huh? She drank poison and died.
Oh, Lady Tyrell. Oh, okay. I thought you said Ilaria. Sorry.
Olenna.
Okay.
That's her first name.
Yeah.
Blair.
Sure, you're watching.
Can I finish?
So sorry.
All right. I've got Samwell Tarly getting a point for curing grayscale.
All right.
And I also have a point for Jorah Mormont for surviving grayscale.
That's not the most exciting 2 points ever, but
We
I agree.
Wait a second.
No, but I think it's
Yeah,
that's like
No,
the
you're
first
right.
guy who didn't die of syphilis. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. All right, so
I was lucky,
then
man.
I have Euron Greyjoy,
Hey,
who I
that's-
believe
That's
Blair
mine.
picked up.
I did.
I got a point for him for coming in at the perfect time to burn down the fleet
Yes.
with his fireball launchers.
Yeah. That was hardcore. I liked his parade through the streets, too.
Ooh, that was pretty good. Not quite awesome though, but pretty good.
Good try.
No pretty good points. He did have what's her name in a throat lock. And didn't he say something sassy to Cersei?
He's already made his ruling, okay?
Hold on, but can you say that 3 times fast? Sassy to Cersei. Sassy to Cersei. Okay. Go ahead.
It's not the Hall of Very Good, Blair.
Did he throw candy during this
All
parade?
right,
No.
I've got one automatic point for Cersei because she had sex with her brother. I believe you get a point for having sex with a known character.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
So then Jamie also, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get to Jamie.
Okay.
And then I'm giving her an extra point, an awesome point for the whole plan. Slipping Jamie out of Casterly Rock so he could go take Highgarden and then sending the fleet around. She gets a point for that.
All right.
Okay.
Hang on,
And
is that it for her? Because are you not giving her a point for the torture on what's her face from Dorne, where she locked her next to her dying daughter and make her watch the corpse rot away for 10 years? That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty sadistically awesome. That's
Yeah.
a good point, Gary.
Yeah.
Let's
I
chalk
thought
up
that
for a
was
point.
amazing.
Yay.
She's evil.
I'll give it a point.
She's evil.
Stop making Blair get
I'm
points.
sorry, but that was
Jesus Christ.
point worthy, man.
Don't worry. Gary does not want me to win. He
tried
just
to
thought
say-
it was awesome.
It was awesome.
All right, now I really hope that someone has Grey Worm.
Oh yeah!
Oh, I'm guessing that's a Lewis.
That's Lewis.
No, that was actually the Kool-Aid container.
Grey Worm gets
Joe didn't watch
2
Kool-Aid
points.
commercials.
He gets 2 points for storming and taking Casterly Rock. You get 2 points for winning a major battle, and I would consider that to be a major battle.
He's always been about some Casterly Rock.
2 points to Grey Worm for that, and then a bonus awesome point for throwing a spear through a guy's chest, which then lifted his body up and pinned him to a door.
That's right. To the door. Go on.
Right.
Is that it?
And then last person on my points list for this week was Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
He gets 2 points for winning the battle at Highgarden.
Yep.
He gets 1 point for killing Olenna.
Yep.
And he gets 1 point for having sex with his sister.
Yeah. Cherry on top.
4 points for Jaime.
So 4 points for Jamie.
Fuck yeah.
And then I got, 4 points total, also for Drew. And I've got 4 points, 1 from Euron and 3 from Cersei. Gary, nothing. Lewis, 3 points.
Yeah.
Brent, nothing.
Brent got 1 for Mormont.
Oh, 1 for Mormont. So Gary, even with Jon Snow showing up at Dany's castle,
Right.
and with Peter and with Tyrion Lannister there too, no points.
I like how they
I
played that.
forgot
It
that
was-
they canceled the last 5 editions and that this is over tonight.
No,
I guess you win.
I'm just saying that if you had said before this episode,
I'm still in
Jon Snow is going to. Oh, look, I have Dany. I wanted something awesome to happen.
Right.
If you had said, I thought I'm going to make an argument for something when and I don't know who gets this point where it's like
I do.
where Missandei is saying like she is the queen of dragons, the Khaleesi, the most omnipotent, blah blah blah, and then Davos is like, this is Jon Snow.
Yeah, I like
It's
how
quite
they
an
played
argument.
that.
You're right.
Like they
I would
didn't
say that was a pretty good line. I would go so far as to say it was an awesome line from Davos Seaworth. So I guess we'll give Davos a point.
Unfortunately,
look at that.
I think
You
we
got
need.
rid of
I
it.
think we need.
Right.
I think we
Yeah.
need. I think we need a
Unfortunately.
theme song.
Wait,
for...
I need to explain to the audience. I gave up Davos to get Euron, but I stand by that choice overall.
Yes, I agree. You're going to come out better in the long
How
run.
does no
I
one
think
have
we.
Sam either?
I don't know.
Look, man,
Oh,
some
boy.
of our characters might be dying soon, and we got some ideas in our head
That's a
of who
good
we're going to
point.
draft.
I'm looking at the big picture.
All right,
Because
but
Ilaria is not long for this world.
Yeah,
I think we need a theme song for Lawyer Blair. Like every time Lawyer Blair comes out, like you were just going to make an argument for that. I think we need
Can
a
it
theme
be the
song.
People's Court?
My suggestion would be this. Hi, I'm Blair. Look at me. I used to be an attorney for the FCC.
so interesting.
Okay. It's just my suggestion.
I'm trying to
If anybody has
decide
a
if
better
I should be
suggestion.
mad about that. I haven't decided yet. But
I mean, it was factual, right? And it did
was
sound
factual.
a lot like you.
I'm not a fan of the voice. I'm not
Right.
a fan of the voice. We'll work on
Well,
it.
that's your
All
own
right.
voice that you have a problem with.
Right.
Well,
yes,
yes,
there you
yes.
go. Thank you, Joe
Perfect.
Pro. Good
I
point.
sound exactly. All I was trying to get to with what I was saying before about Jon Snow is that if you had said before the episode that Daenerys and Jon Snow were going to meet and hang out for several scenes and no awesome points,
Nah.
you would
Right.
be surprised.
But I like how they played that. They weren't up
Yeah,
each
I-
other's ass immediately. Like,
Right.
oh, we're friends.
By the
I
way,
agree.
Joe, Lewis is playing the theme from Night Court now.
Nice. I have no idea what that sounds like.
Yeah,
but I
well,
will,
when you
I
listen-
can't wait until you guys put the episode up so I can listen.
Yeah. Well,
All
you're
right.
going to have to wait.
So I think our overall leader remains Drew, right? Because Drew, how many points you had? 3 points
I had
last
3
week.
going into it and got
And now
4
so
today.
now you got 7.
7.
All right, but people are closing in.
Nice. Well,
I've
whoever's
got
got
5.
Danny is going to be doing well. I think Danny.
I've got
and,
Danny.
Danny, Jon Snow, and
Gary.
maybe a good brand point tonight too.
Oh, maybe. He showed up. He was being all weird.
Yeah, he's being very teenagey.
Yeah, it's a little weird. All right. Well, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Joe.
as always.
Bye, Joe.
We'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Okay, bye. See, this is where, Gary, you gotta turn it off.
You gotta help.
Turn it, baby.
No, I'm holding too many things. All right.
6 pins.
All right.
Microphone.
Well, Drew, you're doing well. How do you feel?
I mean, I expected it.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
Hey,
All
Lewis,
right.
make sure you log up that Blair Attorney theme song so we can use it when we need it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
It's a fantasy league, and you know my track record in fantasy leagues. So
Do you know what a Crossroads demon is?
Are you calling me a crossroads demon?
No, not at all.
Like,
I'm suggesting that you might have sold your soul for fantasy football success.
Oh, we know.
On a crossroads in South Mississippi at midnight.
All right, I'm going to call our guest, Jen O'Neill Smith. Gary, will you hold this? If the audience could see me and what I'm juggling here.
What are you doing?
I'm trying.
Why are you juggling that stuff?
Oh, my God. Guys, Jen doesn't know us, all right?
Hello?
Yes, is this Jen O'Neill Smith?
This sure is.
Jen, this is Blair Postman, and you are recording with My Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you?
Great. How are you?
We are fantastic. We just wrapped up our Game of Thrones Fantasy League. I feel like we might accidentally slip into arguing about that when we talk to you, so I apologize.
No chance of that. I'm not even interested in it.
Right. I apologize in advance. Let me tell you who else is here. My husband and sports stat expert, Mr. Gary Hames.
I think you should put my middle name in it when you introduce me.
She just said hello.
Hello, Jen. It's nice to meet you. I need my middle name in my introduction.
You want Gary Nicholas Hames?
Yeah. Why should women only get 3 names and men only get 2?
That's not how it works. That's just her name.
No, but, you know.
I don't go by Blair Ann Postman. I just go by Blair Postman.
Yeah, well.
Okay, let's start over.
I go by Jen Smith, but it's really boring. You know?
It is, well, that's true. Smith is a, you know.
Jesus Christ.
It's been done. Wow. Okay, we're going to try this intro again, Jen, but this time my husband's just going to say hello.
Prepare to meet Drew Alphonse Harrison.
Okay. Hey, Jen, this is Blair with My Fantasy Wife podcast. We're recording. Let me tell you who's in the room here. We don't edit, by the way. This is all going to be in the episode. My husband and sports stat expert, Gary Nicholas Hames.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, great name.
Thank you.
Gary Nicholas.
I'm named after 2 golfers.
Okay. Also, our hot topics and social media maven, comedian Drew Harrison.
Hey.
Hi.
Wow. And rounding things out, sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Joseph Bishop Jr.
Hi.
Wow.
That's also a great name.
Thank you. I was named after my daddy.
Wow.
One of those 2 golfers.
Wait a minute. Joey Bishop, like the singer?
Yes.
Your father is Joey Bishop, the singer?
Right, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who knew?
No, you're kidding.
No,
He's kidding.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be
was
here.
like-
No.
We'd be somewhere else fancy.
Yeah, we'd be in some kind of lounge in North Vegas.
Right, something like that. Well, Jen, I'd like to tell the audience a little bit about you. Let me read your bio for you. Jen O'Neill Smith is a stand-up comedian from Atlanta, Georgia. She has produced and co-produced many comedy shows, including Schlitz and Giggles Stand-Up Comedy Showcase, Brunch Lines and Date Night, a sensual comedy experience. Jen has hey, look, that's the bio. Jen has had the pleasure of performing on many festivals, including Limestone Comedy Festival, Laughing Skull, Accidental, Women in Comedy Festival, Laugh Your Asheville Off, Memphis, Bird City, Devil Cup, and Hell Yes Fest. When Jen is not writing jokes about her family, she spends most of her free time begging for forgiveness and riding bikes in the park. Please, big round of applause, everyone, for Jen O'Neill Smith.
Wow.
Woo!
You go, girl.
Thank you.
So, Jen, nice to have you. That was a long way to go to get through the intro.
Blair writes an awesome intro, doesn't she?
Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, now, Jen, as is always the case with our comedian guests, we don't bring them on really to talk about comedy. We bring them on to talk about what their sports or sports-ish interests are. And one of yours is baseball. In particular, the Braves. You were at a Braves game today, weren't you?
Yeah, I literally just got back. Yeah, they were awful and they lost.
Yeah, well...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just so you know, both Gary and Drew, who usually root for opposing teams, are both Atlanta Braves fans from way back.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So are you a Braves fan? Did you just kind of fall into it because you live in Atlanta? What's your baseball story?
Yeah, well, I grew up in New York, so I grew up on the Yankees. My dad is still a diehard Yankees fan. Like, he's crazy about it. Like, our whole lives depended on how the Yankees were doing.
Right.
And but here now I live in Atlanta, and so it's the team here, and now I have my husband's a Braves fan, and then I have 2 kids, so this was like their first real big baseball game outing.
Oh, so today was the first day.
Awesome.
The first big major league. Oh, this is a big day that we happened to catch you on. What did they like? How old are they, first of all?
They are. My son is 6 and my daughter is 4.
And what did they seem to like and not be such a big fan of? What was their experience like today? I'm curious.
Okay, so Sully plays baseball, and he likes to play it, but he's not a big fan of like sitting down and watching things. So today he started to get kind of bored, and he was getting kind of whiny. Plus, it was so hot outside.
Right.
So I decided to make a game out of it, and I told him that every time that Freddie Freeman gets a hit, I'll give him $1.
Now, some
wow,
people...
you felt pretty safe of that, though, didn't you?
And then I was like, oh my God, I'm teaching him like sports betting.
Right, good for you.
But he was super into it. Like after I said that, then he was just like, come on, Freddie.
Well, you're not the first person who tried to make baseball more interesting by adding betting to the mix. So,
yeah.
Some people would say that baseball already was a game, but you felt the need to make a game out of it for him.
Yes, because like that's how kids. Yeah. That's how kids are these days. Is everything is centered around video games,
right?
And how anything is a game. And so there's some weird game that all the kids like right now. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's really creepy, but it's like this weird game that's like basically like a haunted Chuck E. Cheese sort of thing.
Ooh.
And so when he heard the name Freddie Freeman, and then his number is 5. He like perked up. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this like a video game sort of. And then we and then he likes money.
Was he disappointed?
Sure. He's a capitalist.
Yeah.
Was he disappointed that it was an actual man and not a scary robotic kind of Chuck E. Cheese doll that went out there and batted? Or
no, like I don't think he really cared as long as he
the
was
money
making
kept coming
off of.
Right.
Yeah.
So Louis,
today,
go ahead, Jen.
And today they gave out, baseball cards to the kids, and in his pack he got a Freddie Freeman one. I was all excited. Then he bought a Freddie Freeman T-shirt.
Wow.
So he's like all about him now after one game.
That's all it takes, though, really.
Well, when they get a little older, you can do what I did growing up to make baseball interesting and teach them drinking games every time Freddie Freeman does something. But you got a few years to go until that.
Now, Louis, it sounds like you're familiar with the Five Nights of Freddy.
Yeah, no, I know people that are into it and stuff. I don't.
You don't indulge yourself.
No,
okay.
yeah. Everyone's way into it, but it's weird. It was like older, and like it really didn't take off, and then like a few years ago, like it resurfaced and it just blew up after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
all right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like little kids are super into it, but it's something that would have terrified me.
Yeah, no, it's very creepy. It's super creepy.
It's very creepy. Yeah.
So if we had a robotic Chuck E. Cheese guy on any baseball field, that would be interesting.
Right.
But this one would be terrifying.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, Sully is an adorable name. It feels like he's born to be like a sportscaster or something with that name.
Totally.
So did he come away? He came away with, what was the man's name? Fred? I don't know anything. Freddie Freeman. Now, Gary and Drew, you're fans of the Braves. Is Sully going to be in for a lot of disappointment by taking up his fandom so casually about Freddie Freeman?
No, he's probably he's the best player on the team.
I don't know.
What do you think, Gary?
If he'd have chosen the best player on the team in like 1986, I would, but I don't know, man.
Braves are going to be just fine.
All right. I love him. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, he made like $3 today.
Wow. Okay. So. That's a pretty good day.
A 3-hit day.
But now I don't know how to end this.
Have you? Well, right, because now basically you brought financial ruin down on your family. It's a bit of a shell game when one family member is transferring money to the other family. Did you pay the appropriate taxes on that?
I know.
See, you're looking at all kinds of trouble here.
I didn't even have cash on me. I was just like, I'm going to put it.
So you kited a check is what you're saying.
And he was like, what's an account?
So check kiting, IRS fraud, gambling, illegal sports gambling with a minor.
Right.
This is a bad day for Jen and her family.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So what do you like about going to the ballpark? Now, I'll preface this by saying, for example, I very much I haven't been to a pro game since we left D.C. several years ago. And I used to like when we go to Camden Yard in Baltimore, they have crab cakes. I'm really about food.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you like about when you see pro baseball in person?
Well, the new SunTrust Park, it's like brand new. This is the first.
Oh, that's
season.
right. That's right.
And we were, really everybody that lives downtown, which I live downtown, was really bitter about, losing the stadium downtown because now we have to drive out to the burbs.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, like it's a nice stadium. It was cool. They have tons of great food. Like, this don't kill us, but my husband and I are going through a vegan phase right now, and they actually had a vegan hot dog hamburger stand.
So you didn't eat anything good, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was okay.
It was good for vegan, okay for normal food.
Right, definitely. At least there was options, but my favorite, I was never really a big baseball. I was. Brought up on it, but it was more like I watched it just to know what kind of a mood my dad was going to be in that day.
Sure. Do you have any stories about
go home or not?
So would you leave the house, if it was a weekend game, would you leave the house on purpose while the game was being played and then figure out?
Totally. We were too. He would scream at the TV, curse, yell, and so everybody that just got out of the house, and then it was we would have to check our friends' TVs to see how they were doing, if we could go home or not.
Right.
And if they did well, then we would go home and hit them up for stuff.
Now, did he ever? Any stories off of that? For example, did people ever get into trouble with him about what they might have said about the Yankees?
Oh, yeah. I remember my mom, this was years ago, but my mom's best friend was at our house, and my mom had just thrown her daughter a baby shower at our house, or a wedding shower or a baby shower, I can't remember. Then the next day, no, it was at the shower. I remember, my dad comes walking down the stairs, and her friend Karen was just like, "So Tom, I guess your Yankees couldn't cut it this year because they had just lost. I think it was a World Series, and just lost." And my dad kicked her out of the house
at her shower, a day of her shower.
I think he kicked her out the next day. I remember him going off on my mom, we throw her daughter a shower, and she said and she has the nerve to come into my house and say, and she wasn't allowed back in for I want to say it was at least a year.
Wow.
She wasn't allowed back in her house.
Your dad don't play.
One season suspension.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's a big. What do you have to do to be suspended? Doping. She was basically the equivalent of doping in your dad's league there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Performance enhancing drugs.
So what's the happiest you ever saw your dad, when it comes to the Yankees?
Well, when they're doing good, he'll, just, you can just see it on his face. He lights up and he's in a good mood, and he actually, will talk to us and stuff. But, he, I totally forgot what I was just going to say.
It happens.
There was a time. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Did he have a favorite?
See, Blair's an optimist. She wanted to know the happy times. But do you remember what it was like when the year they were playing Arizona and it went to the last game of the seventh game of the series in the last inning, and they brought Randy Johnson in to pitch for Arizona, and he struck him out. And then the Yankees were winning; they were going to win, and they had their closer in.
It wasn't even that; it was the year of 9/11.
Salt in the wounds right now.
It was 2001. It was the World Series after 9/11.
And one of those little utility infielder types hit a bloop single, and they end up coming back and winning by one in the ninth inning, and the Yankees lost. I bet he was.
That's the year. That's the year that my mom's friend said that.
So there were a lot of tensions.
So she was really bitter.
Everyone was extra tense and bitter that year. For a lot of important reasons. I understand. I grew up in that part of the world. I grew up in Bergen County, New Jersey, just over the George Washington Bridge. So I have known the type.
Yeah, I just remembered the thing that was the most happy I've ever seen him was and this is a man that he's pretty. He doesn't show emotion a lot. He's very, stoic, and we're always trying, for Christmases and birthdays, all the kids are always trying to outdo each other, and what can we get him that will actually get him to say anything other than he always just goes, "Very good, thank you." It doesn't matter what you give him.
Right.
He just goes, "Very good, thank you."
Right.
And then, so my littlest brother, had like a photoshopped of like, it was when Derek Jeter had won some big game, and then there was another player behind him giving him a hug from behind, and he photoshopped my dad's face.
Oh,
hugging
nice.
Derek Jeter, and framed it, and like it made it look like it was signed, and it said like, "Dear Tom, thanks for always being there for me," or whatever.
Oh,
Love
wow.
Derek. And so like that was the one present that we ever saw my dad actually like smile, laugh, say thank you. It's still sitting on his desk. It's like his prized possession.
Does he know that it wasn't really signed by Derek Jeter? Should we be talking about this?
I don't think he knows that he wasn't in the picture. Like, I think he's so involved.
Wasn't there a Seinfeld where Kramer went to fancy camp and then threw a beanball at Joe DiMaggio?
Something.
Yeah. Your dad probably never watched that show again.
Yeah.
Something like that.
All right.
Well, Jen, we always ask our comedian guests to play a game with us based on whether it's their sports interests or something else about them. And we're doing something a little quirky here this time around. We're going to play a game with you, 10 questions, famous moments and figures in Long Island sports and other history. So some of these are going to be sports-based. Some of them are going to be more of a pop culture or other-based. A lot of them are sports-based. And you are from Long Island, and your father, the world's greatest Derek Jeter and Yankee fan, also from Long Island. So so we're going to go there. Now, here's the thing. If you do well, you get nothing. But if you do poorly, we make fun of you later after we hang up. So
this sounds...
Yeah, it's a lose-lose.
And we also just researched this today. The record for these quizzes is 8.5 right.
Right, 8.5 right.
8.5.
So if you break that, you are smartest comedian we've ever had.
And we will say thank you very much.
That if it's about sports, I'm going to know nothing. But if it's about murderers on Long Island, I'll know all.
Well, hold your horses.
Yeah,
I don't want
murder questions.
I don't want to promise anything. But those record holders, I think, are Pranav Bahari and Chris Calagero from New York. So those are our record holders.
Oh, no, I have a question about.
Oh wow, they're from New York too. Okay.
About murders, real quick. Are you just a fan of murders, or are you an actual murderer?
Both.
Okay.
No,
okay.
What's that?
There's a lot of really great murders happen on Long Island, or attempted murders.
What's your happiest?
What makes a great murder?
Memory?
Well, I mean, the Amy Fisher thing was a big deal. That was an attempted murder, but that actually all happened like in the town next to ours, and so we were there in the thick of it.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with it.
Everybody knew. You don't.
I'm just kidding. Amy Fisher? Just kidding.
What did your dad say about Amy
Jersey.
Fisher?
Yes, I'm.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a big Yankees fan.
Oh.
Your dad probably liked her.
And and I think you have a bit about we performed in Asheville together. And you have a funny bit about we opened for Aaron Foley.
You bet your Asheville you did.
Okay, that'll be enough of that. But that you had, don't you watch a lot of like true crime, and you have a whole?
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's funny. All right, guys. Well, let's get started. Let's see if there's anything here at all that Jen will eventually be able to answer. All right, Gary, you want to start us off with number one?
Sure. Number one, this intellectually bent sports journalist got his big break calling play-by-play for the Spirits of St. Louis of the American Basketball Association in 1974.
Now, this is a tough one.
You think?
He's famous.
The answer's not tough.
The answer's not tough, but that detail might not be good enough.
The answer's not tough.
Well, you've heard of him, is what we're saying.
Sports journalist.
Intellectually bent sports journalist.
He's an NBC guy.
The George
Brian
Will
Gumbel?
of broadcasting.
No, not Brian Gumbel. That was a reasonable answer.
I don't know.
Bob Costas.
When I think intellectual, I think the Gumbel brothers.
Well, Brian Gumbel is kind of. Why don't you go there, number two, Drew?
Not on the carpet.
Too late.
Oh, boy, we're classy here.
Sagamore Hill was the home and summer White House for this boxing, hunting fanatic, rough-riding president.
It's a president from Sagamore Hill?
That was his house, yeah.
Okay. And he was a boxing rough riding, is that what you said?
Yes, those are all clues.
Oh.
Oyster Bay.
Let's see.
He was president. He's one of the famous ones.
Richard Nixon?
Oh,
yes.
Jen.
Yes. Oh, no.
Oh.
I thought that was right.
What was the answer?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, he did box. He did.
He's also from Long Island.
And he was
so remember,
in charge of the Rough Riders.
Sagamore Hill is on Long Island. All of these are going to be Long Island related.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned. I'll take this next one. I don't feel good about it, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
Your strengths are coming up. The NFL Hall of Fame. This NFL Hall of Famer also excelled at lacrosse at Syracuse University and had a notable acting career. And
Boomer Esiason?
Yes. No, but I really want to know why you guessed him. Why did you guess Boomer Esiason?
Because I remember when Boomer went to my I call him Boomer.
Sure, because you're close.
Name and all.
He went to my elementary school, and I remember him coming back and talking to the school, and I got to meet him and stuff when I was in elementary school.
So
former University of Maryland alumni, Boomer Esiason.
Okay, well that was a reasonable. I was just wondering if of all the people who played football, you just pulled his name out of your butt for.
I was just trying to think of Long Island football.
No,
people
I think that was a fair idea. I didn't know he was from Long Island, so.
See, so really, she knows more than you.
Yo, she knows a lot more than me in a lot of ways, I'm sure. Most people do. Jim Brown was the answer here.
Oh.
But I feel good about this next one. I feel good about this next one. Gary Hames, give her this
I feel good about this one, too. With the publishing of this book and subsequent movies, based on the supposed haunting of this Long Island home owned by George and Kathleen Lutz, we learned when a ghost tells you to get out, you get the fuck out.
Amityville Horror.
Yay! Ding,
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding.
I have been inside that house before.
Really? Is it creepy?
Yes. I was younger. I think I was about maybe 10 years old, and I went with my friend, Sarah Pescatelli, to her cousin's house.
Didn't she date Fonzie?
And her cousin lived there, and they told us that was the house. So I was in it, and they told us that was the house, but they were like, this is the house that the movie was based off of, but there's nothing here. Nothing happens. It's fine. And I was like, let's leave.
I was freaked out because I was looking up stuff for this show, for this quiz last night. And I was Gary was out and I was home, and it was creepy just reading about it and the murders.
Oh, yeah.
By the way. Really what we should have been talking about this whole time is your sports-ish interest of famous murders. Oh, well. Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity. All right.
Oh, well.
You're on a roll now. Drew, why don't you ask her number 5? I feel good about this one.
This sports team won a championship of their sport every year from 1980 to 1983.
It's a pro team based on Long Island.
The New York Giants?
Okay, wait. Don't answer anyone. I'm going to ask the question again. It's a pro team, and they're based on Long Island.
Oh, the Islanders.
Yay! Ah. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, I know a little bit about hockey. A little.
Well, the Giants never based on Long Island. Never based there.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with hockey.
No, and it doesn't have anything to do with hockey. All right, I'm going to go.
You knew a little about hockey.
I now regret this next question. I'm going to say that from the start. Number 6. This character spends a lot of time at Gatsby's estate and is a professional golfer and cheat.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Did you ever read The Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
What's that?
Wait, what? Oh, it's in the movie The Great Gatsby?
Yeah, that's why I said character. This character from the book The Great Gatsby spends a lot of time at Gatsby's estate, and she is a professional golfer and a cheat.
Daisy?
No, but that was from The Great Gatsby.
Good guess.
I'm going to give you half a point.
For being wrong.
It was Daisy's... Frankly, she named something from The Great Gatsby. Jordan Baker. That was Daisy's friend, Jordan Baker. Long Island.
I don't think that was in the Leonardo DiCaprio
it was
version.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not important. You're a very successful comedian.
All right,
Who
question
cares?
7. I'm thinking of a color. What is it? That's just in keeping with the difficulty level of these questions.
Right. I sometimes get teased for my level of difficulty.
Yeah.
I like to learn when I make the quizzes.
Let's move on.
Okay, let's.
No, I like a challenge.
There you go.
There you Shall I do number 7?
Yes, please.
This third and final leg of horse racing's Triple Crown is held on Long Island.
Oh, it's the... Oh, my God. I was just... My grandmother was super big into horse racing, horse betting. And she just passed away, and for her memorial, she wanted us to all go and bet on horses.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we did.
Hey, we would do that if you think it would help.
It's, oh, God.
It's the one you're thinking of.
I know, and I can't...
Articulate the name, yes. It happens.
Don't ask for whom the bell tolled.
Oh, stop. I'm not doing that.
Oh, Sylvia Plath?
Yes,
no.
yes.
No, what's the name of horse racing's final leg in the Triple Crown? It's based on Long Island.
What's the name of the final leg?
Well, this is I'm just going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, good idea.
It's Belmont Stakes. The Belmont Stakes.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But now we understand that your grandmother was a big bettor on horse races. How you got that idea to make Sully interested in baseball?
Yes, exactly.
That's all coming together. All right, Drew, will you ask number 8, please?
These 3 dubiously famous businessmen are graduates of what Long Island college? Charles Kushner, J.D.
That's Charles Kushner is Jared Kushner's billionaire real estate developer father who went to prison.
Okay. Robert McMahon, suspect in the 1978 Lufthansa heist.
Lufthansa heist. That's from Goodfellas. Remember the thing in Goodfellas?
Sure.
These are all criminals.
And Bertie Madoff. Wall Street investor convicted of multiple felonies related to the largest Ponzi scheme in history.
So these all famous business types went to which Long Island college?
Oh, my mom is going to kill me.
For who the bell tolls?
My hints aren't good.
Oh my God, I can't believe this is what happens when you sit in the sun and drink beer all day.
Yeah, no.
My mom is going to kill me because she used to work at that library.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm putting Hofstra University.
Hofstra University. My dad went to Hofstra.
Well,
wow,
there
you go.
I'm an idiot.
So interesting. Boy, and I am not going to ask this next question.
I'll do it.
Because number 10...
You've got to start running.
Number 10 has 2 answers, and we'll give her a point for each if she gets both of
I'll
these.
do number 9 because you need to go ahead and get in your car and start running away from the angry people that are going to chase you around for the difficulty of your questions.
Okay, no.
This is a hard question.
You don't have to ask it.
I don't think who asked it is going to be the problem.
Well, I know. We don't have to ask it at all.
Are you going to skip number 9?
Yes.
I got you.
I'm saying number 10 has 2 answers.
I got you. Yes.
Okay.
This American woman who became known as the Long Island Lolita by the media in 1992, when, at the age of 17, she shot and severely wounded Mary Jo, the wife of her illicit lover. What was the name of the young Lolita? An extra point for the name of her lover.
Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco.
Ding, 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 ding. All right.
All right.
That's what I was talking about. Those
I
2
understand now.
answers.
Yes, I hadn't read the 10th one.
Wow. So you're good for 4 real points and half a point for saying Daisy Buchanan in relation to The Great Gatsby. So we're very proud of you. We're very proud of you. We're going to give you. We should have offered her $1 for every point she scored.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
We recouped her Freddie Freeman losses.
Right, exactly. And gotten her family out of that horrible legal situation. Yep. Jen, we love you. We love having you. Is there anything that you're doing in Atlanta or any more festivals that you could possibly get into? Anything coming up comedy-wise?
For festivals, actually here in Atlanta coming up is a Red Clay Comedy Festival.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm.
We'll be here in the end of September. And then I'm about to head out. I have some shows in LA in a couple weeks.
Oh, great.
So I'm excited for a trip out there. And but I think that's all that I have on the festival
side.
Yeah, I think so.
And your website,
playing.
Is it Jen O'Neill Smith Comedy? What's the website again? So people can find you?
It's just JenO'NeillSmith.com.
Okay, great. All right, guys. Big round of applause for Jen O'Neill Smith. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, have a good run. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Woo! This was fraught with anxiety for me, but it's over now.
All right.
That's going to wrap us up for episode 124, listeners. To download all the episodes we put out every week, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for taking us out with the jazz trumpet stylings of Mr. Al Hurt.
SharkanoMovie.gov.